Did you know BTS's Dynamite holds the record for most weeks at #1 on Billboard's digital song sales chart? Did you know NSYNC's No Strings Attached held the record for most copies of an album sold in a week?
It's gonna be May.
Boy bands have a magnetic hold on our hearts. They make us swoon and pack out stadiums. But where did they come from? What defines a boy band? And how do they continue to melt our hearts like butter?
What's up? I'm Eric Michael.
And I'm Dan, and we're from Motown, and you're watching Billboard Explains the magic of boy bands.
Their roots can be traced back to the African-American barbershop quartets of the 1800s. The Cambridge English Dictionary defines boy bands as a pop music group made of young men who sing and dance. And no group established that better than the Jackson 5. In the 1960s and 70s, the pop phenomenon became the blueprint for future boy bands. Like when the 1980s saw New Edition start to Cool It Now, followed by New Kids on the Block Hangin' Tough. The 1990s were kicked off by Boyz II Men in Motown Philly, alongside many other black R&B groups. Backstreet Boys exploded onto the scene with massive signature hits like Backstreet's Back and I Want It That Way. Then NSYNC took the term boy band to the next level. In 2000, they became the biggest band in the world, breaking the record for most albums sold in a week on the Billboard 200 with 2.4 million copies of No Strings Attached. That era spawned a surplus of boy bands, and even a show making the band which gave us the memorable melodies of O-Town.
Being on Making the Band was, at the time, revolutionary.
It felt like we were riding a wave. It felt there was this big swell of momentum. We were happy to be wrapped up in it.
The late 2000s gave us the Jonas Brothers, who went from babyface Disney stars to grown comeback kings.
I'm a sucker for you.
And finally, the 2010s brought us One Direction, who formed thanks to the X Factor. They were the first boy band that could truly take advantage of social media, creating that mass hysteria which has been taken to unseen levels by K-pop boy band BTS, who has stolen the boy band crown, becoming the first Korean act to top the Billboard 200 with their release of Love Yourself Tear in 2018, and has continued dominating, amassing 6 Hot 100 #1s. So how do these bands maintain such iconic legacies? The moves. Slick choreography that stands the test of time because we learn it. Bye 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 was taught on DVD in 2001 and still was featured on TV in 2021. No matter what the generation, it's simply a rite of passage as a fan. Next up, vocals. Multiple tones blend to make boy band songs stand out as mastered by Boyz II Men. And One Direction rarely if ever had to stress about an 8 count. Which brings us to boy bands' looks and style.
That's what makes you beautiful.
It's the reason most fangirls and boys can't get enough. Justin Timberlake's golden curls, Omarion's swag, or Zayn Malik's smoky gaze. Boy band members have perfectly crafted looks, as you can see with all 7 of the Bangtan boys. But there is no boy band without devoted fans. Fans of their favorite groups have decorated their rooms, spent tons on merch and clothing, and even camped outside just for the chance to be close to their idol. How long have you been out here?
I actually got here at 7 last night.
My friends, they actually been here longer. They've been here for 4 days.
And lastly, you can't talk boy bands without talking breakups and solo careers. Without their boy band beginnings, we wouldn't have the solo careers of Michael Jackson, Bobby Brown, Justin Timberlake, Nick Jonas, and this year Harry Styles is taking his talents all the way to the Coachella main stage. The future of boy bands is looking bright.
I think the future of boy bands is definitely upon us. Obviously, we're always going to be in a phase of boy bands.
There will always be boy bands because there's always teenagers, and they're always looking for that next band that could be theirs.
And that's why we all know these talented heartthrobs will always light us up like dynamite. And we'll never say bye bye bye.